Welcome to the Open Mic Diary. My name is Indra Adele, and you have just stepped into a safe space. Just like in a diary entry, in this space, I am free to be my most authentic self, be vulnerable and honest about my feelings and emotions, and give you a front row seat to my various life experiences, my challenges, my victories, ups, downs, laughter, tears, and everything in between. I'm turning my healing journey into our healing journey. And honestly, this is not your traditional podcast. This space is free flowing, hence the name Open Mic Diary. So expect anything. If you have not already, please go listen to the Allow Me to Introduce Myself episode so you have more context to me and the style of this podcast. Episodes, for the most part, will be uploaded in batches, but outside of that, I may decide to spontaneously upload episodes individually. So please make sure that you follow, subscribe, and have your notifications on so that you will always know when I post a new episode. I pray that my authenticity and my vulnerability in this episode blesses you in some way. Okay. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a few months since I've recorded an entry, and so much has happened. So much has happened. Oh my gosh. We're in February now. I'm first of all, like, I think the feeling that I feel the most is pride. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself because I set a goal and I stuck to it and I accomplished it. And that's a big deal. And for me, because I feel like I went through a season where I would set goals, but maybe accomplish it partially, not fully. And that was starting to like weigh on my soul. And I think I started to lose trust in myself. And so then when I would set a goal, it would be like, okay, well, are you really going to do that though? Like, I know you want to do it, but like, it's like, I don't know, like subconsciously, right? Like, I think being in a space where I just didn't have the capacity to accomplish things at the level that I knew myself to be able to accomplish things. I still had the same like expectation of myself, even though I didn't have the same capacity. So that was definitely a blind spot on my part because I didn't adjust. I think eventually I did. But for a while, I still had these expectations of myself that didn't quite match where I was actually at. Didn't quite match my actual capacity. And yeah, it started to mess with my belief in myself. And um I just started to doubt myself a lot more. So once I felt like I got to a point of emotional and mental stamina that could withstand some of the goals and things that I wanted to pursue, I was like, okay, we're entering a new season now. And for me, like I can feel when there's a transition for me internally. I can feel when I'm progressing from one space into another. I know what that shift looked like for me. So for me, I was like, you know what? There's a shift happening here. And in this new space, we're focusing on getting our confidence back. We're focused on believing in ourselves again. We're focused on knowing that you know that you know that you know that you know that what you set your mind to, you can do it. And not that you can do it by yourself, but you got God. And with God, all things are possible. And it's not creating gaps in that. I think another thing that happened for me is I got to a space where it was like, with God, things are possible, but I'm involved. So, I'm bound to mess that up, which is true, but that's not my focal point. Like if that's the focal point, then I'm not going to accomplish nothing. And so for me, it's like, yes, I'm human. Yes, just because all things are possible doesn't mean that all things that are possible will happen. Just because it's possible doesn't mean it's actually going to manifest. I get that. I get that there's a nuance there. However, I would rather believe that it's possible and it not happen than to never believe and never know if it could have happened. So my focal point is on belief, not on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, maybes, what ifs. Naturally, my mind does go there sometimes, but I'm doing my best to focus on belief, focus on possibility, focus on the positive what if. It's like, it's a retraining and a reprogramming. And it's a familiar space because there used to be a time where that was the mindset I had, like that was that was the mindset I had, which is so funny to me. Looking at myself and just like my life over the past few years, it's funny to me. I shouldn't say funny because it's really not funny for real. Interesting. Just seeing the transition, like seeing the breakdown of me, like the damage start to set in deeper and deeper and deeper. It was like this gradual, like decomposing of all that I knew myself to be. Go from this person with wild belief and crazy dreams and just confident and like all of the things to just this shell of myself where it's like, I don't know nothing. I don't believe nothing. I'm just lost, confused, feel like I'm in a black hole where I literally can't even see a centimeter in front of me or to the left or to the right of me. Like just surrounded by hopelessness and doubt and confusion, sorrow. You know what I mean? Just that depressed state, it really truly robs you of the ability to like just have belief, right? But when you get used to being in that space, like when you're there for long enough, because it's not like, when you go to that space and it's like, okay, I'm here for a little while and then I pop back out. It's like, no, I was like living there for some time, and that transition of like my divorce was hell. And I was living there for a little bit of time. And so like those became that thought process became my norm. Like it became my norm. It became normal for me to not have hope. It became normal for me to doubt, it became normal for me to be sad, normal for me not to smile, normal for me to be thinking about what could go wrong, normal for me to cry all the time, normal for me. And I I am a very emotionally tapped in person, but it was like unusual even for me. The level of tears that escaped my body. Um And so like that became my norm. And so it was like, okay, it's not as simple as me just saying like, okay, we gonna be confident. Like, no, like I literally have to like retrain my brain. That rhymed. Was not intentional. um so that's what I did. And I would do things that some might think are silly. Like I would write notes to myself on my mirror. I would write sticky notes like on my desk. I would write notes to myself in my phone. I would just do these things to like remind myself. And honestly, there were times where I wasn't even sure if taking the time to write these truths, these affirmations, these reminders were even making a difference. Like there would be times where I'd be mid sentence writing these things on my mirror or wherever. And it's like, is this really helping? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this pointless? And I just had to keep telling myself, like, It's better for me to keep doing it, and it's planting some silent seed somewhere in the back of my mind versus for me to stop because of doubt and just lack of faith, you know? And that could be one of the things that helps propel me forward. So I would keep doing it. And every now and then I would try to switch up what it was. Sometimes it would be scripture. Sometimes it would just be a thought. Sometimes it would be a deposit that I felt like God put on my heart, like something that really aligned with where I was at and what I needed to be reminded of. It wasn't like this random thing where I was like, oh, somebody said that on IG today. Let me put it on my mirror. Like it literally was crafted around an area I was struggling in, an area where I needed to speak life. And I do believe that it helped me. There were days where it felt like I'm writing something and it's like, I definitely don't believe this yet. And I would leave it there until I felt like I believed it enough. Not that I believed it perfectly, but until I felt like it was starting to kind of marinate, starting um, to take effect in me on some level before I would erase it and replace it with something else. You know, so helpful for me. So I feel like transitioning to a space where I was ready to kind of reinstill that belief and that confidence, it propelled me that much more just thinking about, hey, you've been here before. Like, this is familiar territory. You've been broken down many times before in your life and you done built yourself back up with the help of the Lord. And so, like, if you did it then, you can do it now. Because even when I was there before, right, it wasn't like just I was that way. No. Like it was intentional to get to that point. And so the adult version of me that like a lot of people met in my early 20s and mid 20s and all of that, like that was a crafted version of me. Like I ain't come out the box like that. Like I was reading like 5-6 books a month. I was intentionally pouring into myself. I was going to workshops. I was in therapy. I was intentionally building myself into the person that I wanted to be because I was so determined to not look like what I've been through, to not look like all of the trauma and all of the pain and all of the hurt. Right before that happened, I had just got out of a very abusive relationship that, I mean, tore me down to practically nothing. And I was just determined that I couldn't go through life being this like, you know what I mean? Just this like fraction of a person is what I felt like, you know? Um, so, you know, it's like, hey, it's been hard before. It's going to be hard now, but we can do this. And there's an element of it that, yes, it is my own strength, my own determination, my own intentionality. But there is a supernatural element where it's like, if it really truly wasn't for me leaning on the strength of God, like I don't even know. I wouldn't be here. Like just to be completely honest, like straight up, I would not still be here. Even if I was still here in the physical sense, mentally I'd be gone. Like I'd probably be in a crazy house somewhere. Like I don't even know, because when I think about my life and I think about my experiences, it is a miracle that I am functioning normally. It is a miracle that I can walk through life and have hope and have expectation of good, because it's vision. It's not based off of things that have actually happened. Like, yeah, there's some good things that have happened in my life, but there are many, 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 many areas of my life where I have not experienced good, like at all. And so the expectation I have is not based off of experience. It's not based off of anything I've ever seen. Maybe I've seen it for someone else, but it's based off of a vision and a belief and a faith that, like, you know what? I haven't experienced it yet. Versus the space I was previously in where it's like, I will never experience this. I guess this is just my lot in life. Like, I guess this is just how it's going to be. I guess somehow the way that I was made, the way that I was designed, just put a giant sign on my face that said, misuse me, abuse me. Like, just all of the things. There's like a permanent black cloud over my life that's just like, yep, her right there. Let's rain on her. Just rain. Let all the water come out. Heavy. Like, empty the cloud. Like, that's what I felt like, you know? That's what I felt like. And so it's very easy to fall into a hopeless place for me. Like, it was so easy to feel hopeless when it's like, okay, if my life is going to look like this, what's there to be excited about? Like, if my life is just going to be constant pain, constant suffering, every time I feel like I pop my head back out, I'm back under, like, where's the joy in that? Gratitude is something that I think I've had gratitude in the past, but I would say over the last year I've grown tremendously in getting extra creative with finding more reasons to be grateful. I mean, like, I practice it on a regular basis, on a daily basis, where I literally will just, like, take the time. You know what? What can I be grateful for? And it's a go-to for me when I start to feel like things are heavy, life is heavy. I start to feel like I'm losing control. Things aren't going the way I want them to go. Like, disappointment starts to kind of set in. I turn to gratitude because it puts me in a space of hope. And that hope gives me energy to keep going after what I want. Because I know that the enemy wants me to lose hope. Because when you don't have hope, you're focused on everything that's wrong, everything that isn't, and that drains your energy. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction from the life that I know that God wants me to be living. If I'm stuck in this loop, this cycle of darkness and doom and gloom, that's a distraction from the life that God wants me to be living. So I have to remind myself that, like, sometimes the things that I experience and the things that I feel are not all me. Sometimes it's a ploy to distract. And I have to be aware of that. And so I've been, and I feel like it's one of my superpowers lately. I feel like it's something that really, really, really makes a difference lately, because sure, like, in the back of my mind, I'm grateful from day to day. But when I say it out loud, when it's like in the moment, when it's practical, there's a shift that happens versus when it's passive. That when it's active, it's just so powerful. Sometimes it's not even anything major. Sometimes I'll be sipping my coconut. Lord Jesus, thank you for this coconut water, because it costs money to buy this. Right? Money that I could easily not have and not be able to purchase this thing that's providing electrolytes and nutrients to my body right now. Like, it could be something as simple as that. You know, it can be my kids, my home, the fact that I turned on my sink and water came out. It's people in the world that don't even have water. It's people in the world that have water but no hot water. Lord, thank you that I have heat in the winter. Thank you that I'm not out on the street. Like, and sometimes it's not a prayer. Sometimes it's just an awareness. Like, wow, I can walk. Both of my legs work today. Like, there's somebody that woke up today and couldn't get out of bed. I'm grateful for that. Like, it's not just like saying it to say it. Like, I'm genuinely grateful that both of my legs are functioning fully. Because how different would my life be? I'm a personal trainer. If I can't move, you know what I mean? Now, hey, there's people out there doing some incredible things that have limitations. But, like, I wouldn't be able to work out. I'm somebody who likes to be active, right? like, I'm grateful to be healthy. I'm grateful to be able to move around. I'm grateful for all of these things. There's endless amounts of things that I could be grateful for. So even in the most frustrating times, there is always something that I can stop and be like, you know what? Yeah, this sucks. Because I'm not downplaying my emotions. I'm going to let myself feel what I feel. If I feel like it sucks, it sucks. If I feel like it's bad, it's bad. If I feel like it's horrible and I feel like it's about to take me out, okay. And what else is true right now that's good? Like, what else is true right now that's good? Because I could keep going on this trend of everything that's going wrong. And I'm going to acknowledge that because it needs to be acknowledged. And I'm going to hold space for how I feel. And let me also hold space for everything that is good. What are some good things going for me right now? What are some good things happening for me right now? What are some things that I can see that are good? And so constantly holding space for the good and the bad creates balance, and it creates a more sober perspective so that I don't find myself spiraling because I feel like I'm being suffocated by the darkness of everything that isn't going the way that I would like it to go. And over time, I know that that will become easier for me, but coming out of the space that I was in, right, where it's like uncontrollable panic, anxiety attacks, a depressed state, like I've been out of that for a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it ain't been that long. Like it has not been that long, big picture. And I don't want to deceive myself into thinking that I can never end up back there, even though, even though I don't think I would ever end up back there because in that way, because the unique details surrounding that specific situation and how I even got to that space would just never occur in life again because of the healing and growth and the woman that I now am that I will never revert back to. And life is unexpected. You know, things happen that you don't see coming and it can really throw you off. And so learning how to manage tough seasons is something that I've been really trying to get good at because I know that my nervous system is prone to being overstimulated because of my past, because of how my life has been. It just is what it is. My nervous system is prone to being more overstimulated than somebody who has not endured the level of trauma that I have in my life. And so I have to be mindful of that. I have to intentionally like have a rhythm, have a routine that almost goes before the breakdown, like way before, like miles and miles and miles and miles, like so that we ain't just there like teetering back and forth between the black and white space. Like, so, so, you know, um, these are things that just, they're a big deal for me. You know what I mean? Like for somebody else, it might be like, I don't need to do all that. But for me, I do need to do all that. For me, I do need to do all that. For me, I do need to like hype myself up. I do need to remind myself who I am. I do need to affirm myself. I do need to have truth statements. I do need to write. To this day, I still write stuff on my mirror. I have a board that I moved from my office into my room where I write stuff on it. Right? I write stuff on the board. I write stuff in my phone. I write stuff on sticky notes. I will never stop doing that. Even when I feel like I don't need it, I will never stop being intentional about my wellness and pouring into me. Because if I'm not pouring into me, who's going to do it? And sure, there are some people in my life that do pour into me, but I can't wait on that. I have to be my biggest supporter. And I have let that go before, and I just will not do it again. I will not do it again. I pray that I will not do it again. I will not allow myself to lose myself in hopes that somebody else is going to say all the things that I need to hear. And I do believe that there's a place for that. I do think that we need people in our life that speak positive things to us, speak into our life, speak into us. I believe that that is necessary. And I believe that, like, if it's necessary for other people to do it, it's necessary for me to do it too. Um, Journaling, writing my feelings down. Um, it will never end. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm proud of myself for that. I'm also proud of myself because at the end of last year, I decided to pick up a part-time job. Now, oh my gosh. The people in my life that know me know that that decision had to be divinely orchestrated because I'm just not that person. I can be when if I need to be. I'm definitely adaptable. I'm definitely I'm gonna do what I have to do type of person. I'm not afraid to work. I'm not afraid to work hard. I'm not afraid to do something that I feel like is way outside of like what I would ever in life do if if it was necessary, right? Um so I picked up a part-time job that had nothing to do with nothing. It was literally for the sole purpose of temporarily bringing in some extra money so that I could pay down my debt faster. Um, I accrued so much debt, like over the transition of my divorce. Um, I'm not even going to go into that right now because that's a whole other thing. But I'm on a mission to pay that down because it's a lot, and those monthly payments are like, my God. So that was the purpose. I was like, I'm gonna do this for 3 months. So it was like November, December, January, most of January. And it was a sacrifice because I knew that with this particular job, I would be gone for most of the day, 5 days out of the week. 4 days, 5 days. I'm trying to remember now. 5 days. Right. Now, of course, I would still see my kids like after work and before, you know what I mean? But like hours at a time gone. And so my mom was very helpful during that time. Um, and it's interesting to me because I've never lived that life where it's like the just that robotic grind, being away from my kids for the chunk of the day. Like that's not my life, right? That's not my life. So my life is like, okay, I schedule things around my children, you know, because I'm a very like present, active mother. I homeschool, all those things. So it's like, I've just never had the opposite where it's like the job has the hours and I'm adapting to the job. For me, I schedule my clients, the classes I teach. You know what I mean? Like I have a more flexible, customized rhythm that, and it was a reminder for me, like why this is not for me. Because before I had children, I always knew that I didn't want to be in the robotic, like 9 to 5, grind. I still will work hard. I still will grind, just not like that. Just not on that type of schedule and that type of rhythm. Um, Also, I'm an entrepreneur gal, like working for people sometimes is cool. Like the classes I teach, technically I am working for a company independently, and those type of jobs where it feels like a partnership, that's a little bit different. Um anyway, it definitely required me to deny myself on a level that yeah, I had to prepare myself mentally, and I intentionally picked something that forced me to be outside of my comfort zone because I knew I was entering into this new season and I was like, I need to challenge myself. It needs to be something that forces me out of my comfort zone so that not only am I making money, but I'm also I'm growing in my character in the process, and something where I could also be like pouring into myself while I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. So I did that. So literally for hours and hours out of the day while I was working, I was listening to audios. I was listening to people that are like my virtual mentors and pouring into my mindset, pouring into my thought process, targeting areas that I felt like I needed strength, felt like I needed to grow. And oh my gosh, like it changed my life for real. Like even though just the constant grind, like I was tired all the time for those few months. I was exhausted, like so tired between the kids and the job, like and mind you, I didn't stop my business. So like I was still seeing clients, still teaching classes, like so I would take my kids with me. I would take them with me. So, they would sit, I would set them up when I'm teaching because I teach art classes to children a few times a week. And so I would set them up. Sometimes Kai would participate in the class. And other times they would kind of do their own thing. Training my clients at the gym. I set them over in the corner with their snacks and a show. Like they just literally would come with me to work. At home, my clients that are virtual via Zoom, my coaching clients, that's a little different because we're in the house. But like I would just take them with me. And so it was a bit chaotic. It was a bit crazy, but fortunately my clients are very like understanding and they know you know, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. And, but, but But it makes me smile though, because like I also love that my kids are seeing that like like they see mommy working. They see mommy working hard. They see that like the life that they have and the things that they are able to have and the way that they are able to experience a life is not like an accident. It didn't just happen. It's like, no, like I'm working hard, like the groceries in the fridge, like we had to buy that. So sometimes like I like them to see me working and not it always be this like hidden thing. Not that it's hidden, but like if my mom's helping with them or whatever, sometimes I like for them to be there and see what I'm doing. Because I want that like connection. I want them to know what I do too. And I feel like it's healthy for my boys to see that. And so I enjoyed it. And it also allows for more conversations, um, around just entrepreneurship because my oldest, he's an entrepreneur, like already, you know what I mean? He's just been that way since he was smaller. So he's always talking about, oh, he want to do this. He want to start this business. He done started a YouTube channel. Like, he got all the ideas and all of the stuff. And he just like, I love it. So we can have great conversations. But anyways, it was hard, but it was worth it. When those checks came in and I paid off that debt, like over the past 3 months, I was able to pay off 10K of, I'm not going to tell you how much, I'm not going to say how much debt I have. Because that's a little too much information. But I put a little dent in it. I'll just say that. I put a little dent in it, paid off 10K. And like, it made me feel so good. It made me feel so good to do that. I still got a lot more to pay off. But the point for me was to set a goal, to accomplish it and do it so that I could have that experience of being intentional, following through, and just being proud of myself afterwards. And then proving to myself, like, I can do difficult things. I can do hard things, right? I can challenge myself to put myself in an uncomfortable position, right? Because there's some things that I need to be working on that I was just procrastinating on. And it was like, if I can do this, and there was an element to my job that required me to be outside in the cold. Okay. I don't like the cold. Like me and cold, like we're, we don't talk. We're not friends. Like I like the heat. I like the warmth. I like the sun. So for me to be doing anything outside in the cold willingly is like unheard of. Okay. Um, and it's like, okay, if I could do this, like I could do anything, right? Like if I can somehow talk myself into that, this is a good idea. Like I can do anything, right? There's no excuse. Um, so I think it was just overall like a good character experience for me to revisit what I know I'm capable of. Um, revisit some things that I know are inside of me that maybe I forgot or I lost sight of or whatever, right? Um, and it was mostly a positive experience. I will say that I am happy that it's over though. I got what I came for and I left, and that's what matters. So I'm proud of myself for that. I've been detoxing. I've been detoxing since the beginning of the year, so I've been doing a lot of juicing. Um, plant-based only, so like no fish. I like just started eating fish again a little bit this week because I really wanted some salmon. But I'm still keeping it minimal just because I'm doing a parasite cleanse, and so a lot of greens, a lot of juicing, a lot of, and it's been really good. It's been really good. Um my themes for this year are wellness, wealth, and wisdom. Those are my words. Those are my, like, everything that I'm doing somehow falls under that, right? And so I have branches under that of things that I'm doing practically, that tie into those things. There's things I'm doing where I'm focused on building wealth for myself and my children. There's things that I'm doing where I am focusing more deeply on my wellness, and not just like physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, all of it. Um, social wellness, right? Like being consistent with friendships, right? Starting to do events this year because we were kind of on a little bit of a pause with the holidays with my mama's group. Just like connection, like those types of things are all part of wellness too. And so just wellness on a holistic front. And then just wisdom, just like moving more wisely, right? Like um just even like reconsidering things that I always did one way, like, okay, well, does it make sense to still do it this way? Okay, the answer might be yes. The answer might be no. Maybe we should make a shift. Or like, hey, I've always done this way for whatever reason. Like, what do I actually, does this actually even make sense? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or do I actually believe this? I need to, what do I actually believe about this? You know what I mean? Like, and what's actually wise? Um, I might think that something is best for me based off of a bunch of things, but like in the grand scheme of things, is it wise? So I've been studying wisdom. I did this wisdom like workshop thing challenge in January. It was very helpful for me, and it overflows into the other things I'm focused on. And so it's been really great. So just trying to mature in how I make decisions. Communication is a big part of that wisdom for me. How I communicate, when I communicate, who I communicate with. Um, yeah, I think that it's interesting that when I decided that I knew that I knew that I knew who I was, whose I was, and that determined my value, which is non-negotiable. There's a couple people that just fell out of my life. You know what I mean? They didn't fall out of my life, but I would say God weeded them out. It exposed me growing in that. exposed things in them that I never saw. Like I was like blind to it, or the version of me never brought it out. And it was like, and it was a couple people really. Um, but it was shocking for me, but it was also heartbreaking for me. Um, because these people, I had been one person I know I talked about, didn't say who they were, but I talked about the situation I know previously in a previous entry. But this other person, I'm talking, I've been friends with this person for like over a decade, and it was one of those things where I had a realization, like, I've seen this person be this way with other people. They were just never that way with me. I had not experienced it for myself. And I don't know what was off in my brain that was like, I don't know. It was like, and I would have conversations with them and talk to them about the times where they were that way with other people, because I was like, that's not cool. Right. But then I found myself being mistreated by this person, and it was like a hard stop. A previous version of me may have just been oblivious to it because it is familiar. I mean, the audacity, I'm not going to go into the details because they're not, I don't think it would be wise for me to share the details. They're very hurtful. But this person over the course of months just started to reveal parts of themselves that I was like, how the hell have I been friends with this person for so long? Like, this behavior is so in opposition to my standard for the people who have proximity to me, right? How I should be treated, the disrespect, that, like, all of it. I was like, and so I had to grieve it, right? Because I consider this person a close friend. I had to grieve it. I had to boo-hoo cry over it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm moving into a space where certain energy and certain things just it literally opposes the person that I am becoming. It can't come with me. So I'm grateful that God exposed this, because I can't, this is not in alignment, right? It's not in alignment. So it's sad, but I'd rather be sad and process and move on than to be like in a space of deception. Right? Being in a space of deception. Um, so, um, anyway, all in all, I feel like I'm in a good space. Working on some exciting things right now. I'm back to a normal rhythm with my children, enjoying homeschool, enjoying, working with clients, enjoying some new things I'm doing with business, like, which I'm going to share more about in a different entry. Well, I would say that right now, I'm choosing to focus on the good. Right now, I'm clinging to God and focused on taking consistent action on the things that I want to do, not shying away from excitement and passion, but embracing it, because I am an excited and passionate person. Being okay with realigning myself with me fully, and really truly not caring what other people have to say about it. You can get with it or get out. I mean, that's what we're doing now. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. Um uh the shying away, the feeling like I'm too much, and so shrinking back or reserving, expressing myself, I am forcing myself out of that. That comes from a place of trauma where I wasn't listened to, where I wasn't heard, where I was overlooked, where I was invisible, where I was rejected, all of those things. And all those things happened and they were true then, but they're not happening now and they're not true now. They were never true then. It's just, I fell into the lie based on how I was being treated, in more than one situation. And so right now, I'm choosing to not carry that with me into new territory. I'm trying to shed that, leave it behind. It's not perfect. I'm still working on it, but I'm actively pursuing that way of being. All right.